Everyone, here's our promise video, Lesson 61, solving equations in 2 steps. This is a difficult concept, so I wanted to make sure I did this right, so that's why I'm doing a video for it. So, example 1, they start out easy without fractions, and they quickly add fractions, which makes it a lot harder. These are 2-step problems. I think in class I showed you how we used to do problems, or we still will do problems like this. X plus 2 equals 7. When we did these problems, these are called one-step problems because all we have to do is subtract 2 from both sides and we get x equals 5. We also did one-step problems that were like this. 3x equals 5, right? And to solve it for x, we just divided both sides. We're doing the opposite operation. If it's multiplied, we divide. If it's divided, we multiply. These cross out. Whoops, that should have been a 3. 3. The 3's cross out, and we get x equals 5/3. Now we're going to put these two concepts together. We're going to do this adding and subtracting first, and then we will do the multiplying or dividing. So here we go. The first one, it's 3x plus 2 equals 7. I'm going to write that a little bit bigger so that I can work around it. First step, we disconnect. The whole goal is to get x by itself. That's what algebra is about finding x. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We're starting to get the x by itself by removing the 2, and we get 3x equals 5. And then we do the second step, which is dividing. Because it's multiplied, we're going to divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals 5/3. Remember, in algebra, you get to leave your answers improper. All right, let's try another one. This time we are going to have fractions. And I'm definitely going to rewrite this one. So it's 2/3 x minus 1/2 equals 10/3. Somewhere in the future, we're going to learn how to get rid of fractions in equations, but for right now, we're just trying to do these 2-step problems with the fractions in them. First thing you want to do is add 1/2 to both sides. Opposite operation, subtracted, so we add, and that will remove it from the left side, and put it on the right side. So we do this, it's kind of like a vertical kind of thing, so it makes it nice. 2 goes in 10 5 times. 5 times 1 is 5. Whoops, that's not our common denominator. Common denominator is 6. Where did I get the 10? Okay, common denominator is 6. So here we go. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. This isn't really the algebra way to add, but it works for these kind of problems. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 10 is 20. So on the left side, these cross out, and we're left with 2/3 x. And on the right, we're going to add these up, and it's going to be 23/6. Now, a little bit tricky, you got to remember this. When you are multiplying by a fraction and you want to get rid of it, we would basically be dividing by 2/3. So if you think about it, 2/3 divided by 2/3 is going to be 2/3 times 3/2. The 3/2 is called the reciprocal. So when you have a fraction in front of the variable, you're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is the same as dividing by 2/3. Remember, reciprocal, these cross out, and we get our x by itself, which was the goal. And I like to reduce in the fraction as much as possible. 3 goes into 6 2 times, and our final answer is 23/4. There you go. Okay, one more, and then we're going to have you guys try some of these problems. This is one with fractions, but it also has mixed numbers. So as I turn it into improper fractions, I'll recopy it. So this is 2 1/3, which is 3 times 2 plus 1, which is 7/3 x, minus, that's a 5 down there. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6/5. And that's going to equal 23/10. We're going to add the 6/5 to both sides because you do your addition and subtraction first, which sounds opposite of order of operations, right? All right, so this one needs to be in tenths. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. And we just could draw a big long line there. These add out. So we're going to get 7/3 x equals, I'm going to add the 23 and the 12 and get 35/10. That's reducible, but I'm just going to multiply both sides of reciprocal and then reduce. So this is going to be 3/7, right? Reciprocal. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. These all cross out. And here we have 7 goes into 35 5 times, and then check this out, 5 goes into 10 2 times. Now you don't have to cross out in the fraction, you could reduce later, but this really aids in reducing. So we're going to end up with 3 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. And so our final answer is x equals 3/2. That's it. All right, let's do our next problem, and I want you to try. These are the practice problems. You have to do them anyway. So let's do them with the guided way. What that means, whoops, there isn't, this is A, somehow it jumped ahead. So this is A, they're all back behind by 1 apparently. So I want you to try this one on your own, stop the video, and then restart it if you get stuck or if you want to check your answer. So go. Okay, hopefully you have an answer. Let's see if you got it right. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add 1/6 to both sides. I'm going to just squeeze it in here. This we need to change into 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. A little messy like that. And this would be 1/6 right here. So 1/2 is 3/6. 1/6 is just 1/6. So we get 2/3 x equals 4/6. You can reduce that if you want. Up to you. You can make it, we could do it this way. 2/3 x equals 2/3. And then we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 3/2 times 3/2. These all cross out. We get x equals, and guess what? This crosses out with that, this crosses out with that, and we end up with 1. Same thing would have happened here if we multiplied both sides by 3/2. 3/2, see what happens, these cross out. We get x equals 2 goes into 4 2 times, 3 goes into 6 2 times, and 2/2 is 1. Either way works. Okay, this is really practice problem B. So go ahead, write this down, turn off the video, and turn it back on when you are done. Okay, hopefully you did that. So I'm going to make these improper fractions to start. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5/2. X plus 1/5 equals 21/10. Now I'm going to subtract 1/5 from both sides. Do your addition and subtraction first. So we're going to subtract 1/5. We need to find a common denominator, which is 10, and we're going to get -2/10. So we're going to subtract. These cross out. They add up to 0. So we get 5/2 x equals 21 minus 2 is going to be 19/10. That's not reducible. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which you just flip it over because it's the same. Oops, I didn't flip it very well, did I? 2/5. Flip. This is 2/5. It's the same as dividing when you flip and multiply. Okay, we have a little crossing out here. So 2 goes into 10 5 times, and your final answer is 19/25. That should be B. All right, let's move on to C. Scoot this up and get rid of it. All right, same thing. We want to make this into an improper fraction. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5/4 x. I'm going to, let's just recopy that, equals 3/5. Let's add 1/3 to both sides, plus 1/3. Common denominator is 15, so they both need to turn into 15s. which means I'm going to multiply this times 5 and this times 5. This times 3 to get 15, then this times 3 is 9. So we get 5/4 x equals 14/15, not reducible. Both sides get multiplied by the reciprocal. You should be getting used to multiplying by the reciprocal by now. Nothing, absolutely nothing crosses out. So we just multiply across the top, we get 56, bottom is 75. So the answer is x equals 56/75. All right, we have one more problem for you to try. That should have been C, right? Let's go up here, one more page. It's here somewhere. All right, so go ahead and try this one. Turn the video back on when you're done. Okay, here we go. So 2/7 x. We have a mixed number that we need to make improper. So that's going to be 21/10. We're subtracting 1/5 from both sides. We need to make a common denominator. These add out. So we just get 2/7 x. This needs to be a denominator of 10. So it's going to be -2/10. So 21 minus 2. This is similar to that previous one. 19/10. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 7/2 times 7/2. And nothing crosses out. So we get 133. Let me just make sure that's right. 63, 6, 133. Good. Over 20. And you can leave it improper, which is awesome. And that is it. So hopefully this video helped you to do this lesson. If not, note the ones that you need to go over in class on Tuesday, and we'll go over them.